All right, y'all, Fuzzy Biker here. We are on a 1970 BSA Victor Special 441. Hey, the brakes work. I asked what makes it special. They said it's special when it starts. Wow, it really turns. The brakes actually work. That's a big plus right away. They just got this bike in. We're going to take it easy on it. We don't know much about it. We put air in the tires, check the oil. Should be a good one. Oh, no mirrors. That's another thing. I've always wanted to ride one of these. I've seen these. They're a very good looking bike. They got what they call the beer can gas tank, made out of aluminum. When we get done, we'll get the other camera out and do a quick walk around. Okay, let's see if we can do the wow, this has got an incredibly short wheelbase, very good handling in that sense. To be able to do this very well. That's one of the best ones yet, as I put it into the gravel. Incredibly light, very nimble feeling. Probably has a 19-inch on the front. Interesting sound. It's a big single cylinder 441, overhead valves. I believe it's overhead valves. That means a cam in the chest. Originally probably a points bike. I don't know if it's still points or if they ran it up to electric ignition. It's got loads of torque. Pulls really well. Really well. This would be a fun machine. Like I said, very light. I mean, look at this. Let's see if we can do it the other way. Ah, hey, we did it. We did it. We did it. A little bit of gravel on the road there. Looks like a single leading shoe front brake, a drum on the back, of course, chain drive, 4-speed transmission, 1 down, 3 up, right side shift. It runs really well. Very happy with that. The brakes are predictable. I don't know enough about this. You know, it's the first time riding them, and I never trust drum brakes fully until you get to know the bike. I like it. I like it. So there's no one behind us. We'll do a... there's somebody coming up the hill. I was going to do the hill test, but... You know, there's no reason we can't do the hill test in reverse. Hey, let's do this. Next time you're all in Marnie, make sure you stop right here at the Derailed Grill right there. Get yourself a Wahoo burger. A little bit of a... You have to pick up the RPMs to get into a little bit of a power band. Not too much, but just a little bit. I'm really impressed with the brakes. Transmission is good shifting. Goes in and out of gear very easy. The clutch has a little bit of a feel to it. It's a little, I don't want to call it stiff, but it's a little bit heavy, just a little bit. Bike downshifts very well. You got to clunk into first gear, you can feel that. That is Motorcycle Park on our right there. Motorcycle Park. This is a true dirt bike. I think this is a kind of like a off-road machine. It's got loads of torque. The back brake works really well too. Yeah, if I can find neutral, I did. Let's see if we can Let's see if I can get the camera on the looking glass here. There is the bike. I'm flat footing it right now. Isn't that a pretty machine? The yellow and the aluminum tank. Bench seat, single pipe. Spoke wheels. Look at that thing. Very handsome. Very handsome. I'm not ready to get off this thing yet. Let's go to this side of town. Look at that torque. I'm just lugging it right there. I bet I could spin it. Oh, maybe not. I don't know the bike well enough to, you know, get a little active with it. Like I said, they just got the thing in. What a fun machine. Chrome fenders, front and back, and all metal. 1970, of course, it all would be. You know, they were all metal back then, but yet they weigh a lot less than the new ones do today for some reason. Big long stroke single cylinder. What a fun machine. You know, I didn't check the gas. You know, let's take this thing back. And I don't want to go back yet. We'll do one more shot of town here. How's that sound? It's a lot of fun to ride on. Hey, the sticker on the side here says New York. Wonder where it came from, huh? That is Baxter Cycle right there. If you're in the market for a new or used Royal Enfield, Triumph, classic British bike like the one we're sitting on, need parts or accessories, get yourself over there to Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, or go to baxtercycle.com. Boy, the back brake works very well. I want to get out and look at, you know what, let's head on back. We'll go through town and we'll head on back. We'll get the other camera out and take a look at it up close. Look at that pull. I'm not dropping it down. I'm just turning the gas. Loads of torque. You just, you know, those long stroke single cylinders, they're all about torque. Probably the heaviest thing in this whole motorcycle is the crankshaft and flywheel. That's the hardest I'm going to push it. What a fun motorcycle. What a fun motorcycle. 1970 BSA Victor Special 441. I love it. Booted forks. Made in England, I suppose. I think that's what it says on the frame. Just look at this thing. I don't know how much ground clearance we have, but you know, it does this just fine. Look at that. We'll try exhaust by Valley, see what we get. Wahoo! Ha 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 ha! What a grin! What a grin! Okay, to kill this thing, oh, decompression release right here. Ta-da! I like it. I like it a lot. All right, y'all, that was a barrel of fun, wasn't it? Check this thing out. Speaking of barrels, look at that one. Nice and hot. Single Amal concentric carburetor. I wonder what size that is. Look at that thing. Isn't that neat? A little itty bitty motor. Got the BSA shaped, you know, case. The cam is probably right there. Push rod most likely right there. There's a compression release thing right there. Overhead valves, of course. Kickstart only. 4-speed transmission, internal. Just gorgeous looking thing. Look at that. Isn't that neat? So the cylinders from here down. This is the head from here up. You know, I think that these are like art to me. Every time I get near one of these things, I can see the old craftsman making the wood molds. You know, the draftsman drawing it on paper and, you know, showing it to the mold makers, and it's really art to me. Look at that. Just check it out. All the little details. Little skid plate down there. Over to this side. So there's a primary chain in here, of course. Carburetors at an angle. There's the external oil lines. Back in the day, everything had external oil lines. We don't use those anymore because they leak. Not sure where the coil is. Oh, it's right up here underneath the tank, the middle of the tank. Isn't that just gorgeous? So look at that. It's just so organic, you know. Big old mechanical brake lever right there. A little greaser there. There's the adjuster. The brake shoes in the middle of that sprocket right there. Rear shocks, of course. Look how light this frame is, you know. That's why the bikes are so light. Very light frame, very light engine. AJ Richter back here, the machinist, when he has these things tore apart, these old British bike engines, the pieces are so light, you know, and they have to be fitted to each other, and they get all their strength from being put together, you know, as separate units, as separate chunks. They're actually very, like, you know, like seashells almost. They're very delicate, nice and warm. I love doing that. Isn't that just gorgeous? That's what they call the beer can gas tank. They're aluminum and they dent easy like that right there. BSA sticker there. Look at that cap. I don't know how that works. There we go. Looks like somebody treated the inside of the gas tank. You pull this off, there's a bolt there, and that's how you get the tank off. Just a thing of beauty, isn't it? I'm guessing if there's a battery, it's under there. Yep, there it is. Capacitor right there for the ignition, probably. Horn. The rectifier, maybe, for the power unit. There's probably something on the end of the flywheel here, stator in here. Here's the brake light, electronics right here. Electronics from back in the day, the miniature electronics from back in the day. Flat seat, bolted on. Big old, look at that bar. It's solid, I'll give them that. Tail light, rubber mounted. Metal fenders, dual shocks, of course. Speedo drive back there. Look at the hub. Doesn't that that looks so light to me. The fins on the brake drum. Just a gorgeous looking thing. Oil tank. We did check the oil before we started. So it's a dry sump engine. The oil has 2 oil pumps. One pump pumps pressure to the engine. The other pumps scavenge oil back into this tank where it falls back down to the engine. Look at how delicate that looks. You know, but yet this is a tough machine made for dirt. You know, the plates, the swing arm axis right there. The adjusters for the chain. Wow, I love it. I just love this thing. What a piece of artwork. You know, this is 1960s technology at its best, I'd say. Of course, it's a 1970 motorcycle. Big old drum brake. Here's the torque part right here. Adjuster down here. Oh, they have one up here too. Single cable throttle back in the day. That's how it was. One carburetor, one cable. This is how they used to balance wheels. They'd wrap wire around the spokes instead of, you know, they didn't have sticky weights, or at least I didn't use them. Check out that. Fins right there. Yeah, we didn't get it really warm. Not too bad anyway. I think that's a 19 if I can find a size. I can't read on the black. My eyes are just too poor. And look at that back tire too. Anyway, what an absolutely gorgeous machine. It's got a Smith gauge. I'm going to tell you, I say it every time, there's a guy down the road that does repair work. He can do new glass, new faces, new internals. He can rebuild the whole gauge, Smith gauge. I'll put his website above here. Isn't that just gorgeous? So the clutch right there, that's a cast lever on this one. Before they'd been, you know, older than this, they'd be stamped. Probably the high-lows, a horn, compression release, you'd use that to start the engine. You know, bleed out the compression. Over here, the throttle, of course, and the brake lever. And this actually had brake levers that worked. Not sure what that is. I think that's probably for the brake light, for that lever. Not sure what that means or does. So probably off, daylight, night light. One of these is probably a high-low, and the other one is probably a battery light if the generator's putting out power. Tube forks in the front. Look at this, you know, the big old metal fender with the metal stays. You know, so this is all metal, but yet it's lighter than a, you know, I bet this doesn't weigh more than 300 pounds. I'm guessing at that, but just look at this thing. The pipe goes through the frame here to keep it narrow. Love the seat. It was an exciting machine to ride. Like I said, I've always wanted to ride one. I've seen them come and go in the other building. So there it is. BSA 441 Victor Special. I said, what does it mean by special? And they said, well, that means it's special when it starts. Of course, they got this one to go right away. They jump started it or rolled it down the hill and popped the clutch, and it started right up. And another guy said he kicked it. Then he kicked it on the second kick. It started. A beautiful machine. Beautiful machine. I love it. If you all are interested in something like this, or something like that, or something like that, or any of those things over there, if you all are interested in a new or used Royal Enfield Triumph Classic British bike like this, of any type, need parts, accessories, thingamajigs, doodads, Baxter Cycle is the largest British vintage bike parts supplier in North America. They've got not only this warehouse, but several other warehouses, not only in this town, but in the next town over. If they don't have it, you're going to have a hard time finding it. Anyway, get a hold of these guys. They can help you out. They also do service. And go to baxtercycle.com. Make sure you tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. If you call, ask for Randy. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. Hit like and subscribe if you would. I think I'm going to go ride that motorcycle next. And if it's a nice day out where y'all are at, get out there and ride, my friends. Life is good. Wahoo! Once you get used to it, it's pretty neat. Pick it up and then click yourself back to first. There you go. Nice. If you go into a parking lot and do that, people look at you like, what the